how often or how dangerous do you think, or maybe I'm just inventing a problem that doesn't exist, that the policy assumptions drive intelligence gathering?
I think to some extent that's true. So intelligence agencies aren't free to just muck about and
Right.
find things that they want to. They're supposed to answer policymaker questions, but they're also supposed to raise uncomfortable truths with policymakers, right? And so,
Right.
it's an art and a science. I mean, I will say, and I've spent 3 decades talking to folks inside the intelligence community. When they say speaking truth to power, they mean it, right? They take it seriously. They want to serve every president, just like the military does. They don't take sides and serve one president and not another. And their job is to tell them the ground truth as they see it. Now they get it wrong sometimes,
Right.
but that objectivity, that they don't have a dog in the policy fight, is really important.
Is that Stuxnet, I believe, was introduced into the Iranian centrifuge array with a chip, some code that they hid in a toner cartridge, right, in a printer, something like that. I mean, that's how they imported it, from what I understand. Am I basically right? That what
basically, so what we know, and I have to be careful, right? It's for classification. So what we know from what's been publicly reported is that Stuxnet was like a Mission Impossible movie, right? So there was a way where it still hasn't been said how, that this malware was injected into the servers that run the centrifuges.
Right.
A human had to be involved, presumably, right? So there was some human involvement, but made it look like, just like the movies, made it look like the centrifuges were spinning at regular speed when in fact they weren't. And they were spinning too fast and spinning too slowly, and eventually they blew themselves apart. It was a remarkable piece of code.
It was, absolutely. And the brilliant idea that somebody said, look, they got to print off some stuff, so let's put it in the chip and the cartridge and the toner or the ink or whatever, and that's how we inject it into the system, which is fine. But then do the same people who are aware of this then turn around and say, oh, and by the way, your router is made in China. Your webcam is made in China. Your drone is made in China. All of these things are, in other words, is there any sort of, with these vast tentacular organizations of intelligence gathering that you've been describing, where there's actually somebody who looks at what we are buying and says, let's see if they hid a back door in this? Because frankly, China would be stupid not to put a back door in nearly everything that they sold to us, but yet we just sort of blithely assume and march along as if they hadn't. And again, that's one of those truth to power thing where you have to say, Mr. President, this contract here is compromised because we know who's making it. We know their ties to the Chinese intelligence and Chinese military. Kill this contract. Get this company out of our system. I mean, is that a paramount concern?
Yes.
In the intelligence.
Yes. Supply chain security, especially for our defense systems, is a big issue. And part of the challenge is our supply chains have gotten so long and they're so opaque that we don't know how bad it could be, right? So you think about the F-35, how many suppliers are there? And at what point, if in anywhere in that process, was that supply chain potentially compromised by China? Mm-hmm. This is a huge issue. Lots of people in the government are working on it now, but it is a hard problem to solve because our supply chains are so interdependent.
Ricochet. Join the conversation.